Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to SZR Winter Series out on Zwift. Rider's about to get going about 40 seconds or so for 2 laps out on the London 8 route. It's going to be fast and furious. It's definitely been a competition up at the front end of this series. Let's chat a little bit as we wait for the riders to get going out on course, about 20 seconds or so. But a little bit about how the series has been going. In the A category, we do still have Carl Teselius up at the front, but Mike Davis is hot on his heels right now, looking to take over that top spot. I did see Mike actually warming up for his race out here, and was getting ready, I think, for the challenge to try and take down. It looks like Soren Bay, though, as well as Pierre Vidar Avelsberg and Beno Rakadat are still within that top 5, but the points are fairly spread out. Soren Bay there out of Denmark, they're coming from Team Experimental. It looks like Mike Davis now also with a Team X next to the name, which is super interesting to see there. We do have Heigel there also from Team Experimental, so I think Team Experimental has shown up on the day to try and support their new rider perhaps here. So that looks like an interesting update actually over at zippower.com. Mike Davis jumping onto the juggernaut of a team that is Team Experimental, so good to see him out there. So Racing Mike, good to see you over at Twitch. New hat and new headphones. Actually, these headphones have been around for a little while. We just have a lot of different colors of the same headphones. Actually, there's a little story behind that. And if a certain someone is watching, I'd like my blue ones back. So somehow I showed up in the studio and the white ones were here. I much prefer the blue ones. No team affiliations are there at all whatsoever, of course, but definitely gonna be crazy racing though for quite a long course actually out here today. We have a London 8 loop, London 8 route here. So we're going to be seeing the climb out on Box Hill for sure. We are going to be seeing a lot of the London course actually. Let's go ahead and see what the London 8 has to bring our way out on Zwift here. I'll go ahead and see if I can bring in the full route details actually from VeloViewer actually that is over on Zwift Insider. If you head on over there at London-8, the course actually heads on up over Bach. Where's the explanation of this actually though? I'm looking for this. London 8 route covers the entire original course by combining the London Loop and the classic routes. So we will be out on the classic route for something a little bit more chill today up front. But then on the back end, we'll be hitting the Box Hill climb, which is going to make things extremely difficult. Definitely going to be a race of endurance, though, out here today with 41 kilometers total. 41 kilometers total. Hodges says, my bike headphones are rust-colored now over at the Twitch channel. Good to have you over here at Twitch. And if those of you are tuning in over on Facebook and would like to join them over on Twitch, you can do so. So head on over to twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. Hit that follow button over there and you're able to get updates anytime we do go live with anything on ZCL here. So up toward the front, let's take a seat, take a quick little look at where things are at right from the get-go. It looks like Team Netherlands here up toward the front here with Argues. Moving forward a little more though, Isaacson here from Team SZ, it looks like leading things out 155 beats per minute right now. The Vikings team has shown up, it looks like, though. A little bit of presence at the front end of this race. I would not be surprised if that was actually in support of Avelsberg out there today, as he has been a strong contender in the series so far. Looking through the series, Ellsberg with 7 races. I don't think he is looking to slow down in this series anytime soon. Definitely been showing up consistently. He's taken 2 third places, but his ranking on average has been at about a 9.7. It's going to be difficult to catch up to the riders up ahead of him for the overall. He could jump into a bronze medal position though if he is able to grab a few more solid positions there. Averaging 10 points though per race, that would only put him into the put him up to about, I would say, 98 points or so. And so he would have to get quite the results on the back end of the series compared to what he has been doing, but perhaps he's got it in him to make that happen. Now this is a race that definitely does punish anyone finishing outside of the top 5 or so. So those podium positions extremely important in the SZR series. The reason being is because the points on the line are so incredible differentiation between the ones that you are able to grab in the SZR race series. So quick little information here on the series. I'll go ahead and read through it as the riders head on over onto the classic course here. Race rules: power-ups are disabled, no TT bikes. So this is the type of race that does not, if you are all about power versus power, no tactics, no randomness whatsoever, no headwinds, no corners, just strictly what power do you got versus what power do I have. This is your kind of race here. No TT bikes as well, so you are unable to just walk away from everybody else and try and solo away on the TT bike. Now, a lot of times it doesn't work because the group is so incredibly fast out on Zwift, and they usually just drag a TT bike right back in unless somebody is head and shoulders stronger than the rest. So heart rate monitors are compulsory for all categories, actually. This is one of the rare race series where no matter what category you're in, you need to have a heart rate monitor or you're unable to take a position in the race. And I think that's a smart idea, being a part of a series and having a little bit more on the line than a single day race. Having a heart rate monitor compulsory makes sense because people are showing up week in and week out for the series in order to gain those points. And so if they allowed Z-Power and heart rate monitors, they would not be able to keep it fair necessarily, as people are battling out in every category for the points. Z-Power riders will not be able to take podium places. You need to have a registered account with zwiftpower.com as well and accepted their terms and conditions to be in the results of the race. The categories are as usual. 4.0 or higher for your FTP is a category. That's who we're watching right now, along with some of the B category riders here, 3.2 to 3.99 watts per kilogram. If you're unfamiliar with watts per kilogram, it's essentially how many watts that you can hold. Currently, as you can see, 251. Well, the FTP we're talking about for the categories is one thing, but watts per kilogram, if we talk about that, on the right-hand side, currently, you do see in this list the watts per kilogram that the riders are holding, that we are selecting here. We are seeing 4.3 watts per kilogram currently coming from A Mill, from Lunix/Real Deal out of Canada. And as you can see, this rider, 5.6 watts per kilogram, 5.0 at 350 watts. It's essentially taking his weight and giving us a ratio for his weight in kilograms, dividing his watts by his weight in kilograms and giving us a ratio. So watts per kilogram there, that is what he's currently putting out. And that matters because that's a lot of times how fast you can move the weight of your body forward is going to be how many watts, how much power you're able to produce per kilogram of weight on your body or on this avatar, as you do see here in game. And so for the categories, then, the reason why we use the watts per kilogram is because it is a pretty good idea how many watts per kilogram you can hold for 1 hour straight. FTP then for A categories being 4.0 or higher for their watts per kilogram. And that's what you can expect from this front end of this race. You can actually head on over to zwiftpower.com for all the live results, and you can see the exact watts per kilogram that they are holding at the, well, average watts per kilogram they are holding throughout the race so far. We are waiting for an update over there, I believe, over at swiftpower.com. As soon as it does update, we'll start bringing some of that information in as well, as it looks like they need to head on over onto the classic course, I believe, first before we do get that through. Good morning, Missy. Last week is Davis holding the line. I actually have not seen his avatar just yet out on course. There he is. Now, I'm not recognizing him as he's got, it looks like, this new kit on out here today. So interesting to see Davis here swapping it up a little bit, and Team Experimento along with the rest of Team X that has shown up on the day. Hygel is out there. I believe Soren Bay would show up, as he does have a defense of, I believe it is 3rd overall, right behind the likes of Davis. Maybe not, though. I'm looking through here and not seeing Soren out on course just yet. Now, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled, though, here and see if he does end up showing up on the riders list. Benke, good to see you there. Greetings. And then also we do see Claudius Jacob Debski coming in as well. Good to see Debski, always consistently here for the racing. He says, greeting from Lanzarote. Real cycling for me for a change. Right on for everybody. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Debski. Good to see you there. Andrew Benke, always showing up for the racing. And then Sherry Foxworthy, I think, here to cheer on Davis, I would think here. We'll see if he can hold the line and hold down that quick rise to first place, it looks like here. It does look like he is definitely a threat at this point to the likes of Carl Teselius, who has 109.7 races in, but Mike Davis only with 6 races in and averaging 16.7 points per race. Carl Teselius 15.6 per race. So definitely going to be interesting to see if Davis can get a solid result here and end up taking over that first place overall. Now, the SZR series is a series that takes place over 12 races total, and 25 points does go to the winner of each category in the racing series. So 25 points, second place goes 18, then third 15, fourth 12th, and then fifth 10. Then 2 points all the way down, 2 points less all the way down to ninth, and then 1 point for 10th place. Again, there is a team points competition going on here as well. Team points are awarded to the top 5 team members in any category. For example, team, let's see, Experimental has the following members with results. 1 member with wins the A category gets 25 points. 1 member in the B category places 3rd, 15 points. 1 member in B category places 6th, gets 8 points. 1 member in C category wins, gets 25 points, so on and so on. So the way that works is that the top 5 team members in any category. So if you show up for your team in an SZR racing series, and your team, you place well in the D category, it actually helps your team in the overall, as the team racing does not have a category to it. So showing up, and let's say a team shows up and stacks each one of the categories, A, B, C, and D, and they win all 4 of those categories, that would put them 100 points higher actually in the series. A pretty cool situation actually for encouraging participation actually in the series overall. So we are seeing in here Matt Johnson. It'd be interesting to see if he's showing up on the day. He is one. He's got 8.2 for a rank as far as the points he's getting per race here from Team ODZ, but he's got 5 races in, so he seems slightly committed. 7 races to Carl Teselius, 7 races to Avelsberg. We are seeing Davis with 6 and Soren Bay with 5 there. So a little bit of a discrepancy in who's been showing up for all the races there. On the B category, a little bit of a contest here going on. Well, Legestrand starting to have better results later in the series here with a second, a first, and a second. But P.A. Pearson actually absolutely walking away with the series, averaging 22.8 per race. Actually, that is absolute domination so far. Rickard Sorman there in third place there with 55 points. So the top three there, pretty big discrepancy from second to first. Probably not going to be catching up Nicholas Legestrom, but definitely P.A. Pearson walking away with it. But Rickard Sorman there maybe be able to catch up to Legestron, as Legestron definitely has the lead by about 22 points, but with 6 races and averaging 12.8, Sorman definitely has the ability to catch right on up to the riders, actually up to second place there in the series 4. That's for the B category that we were talking about. Let's see if they're actually in the race though. We'll see if we do have an update here from zwiftpower.com for the live results. And it looks like nothing just of yet. Perhaps an update on the back end there needs to come down the line. We'll see if there is going to be something. Hodges said Zwift Power Live is down. Technical outage on the weekend. Got it. Understood. Thanks a lot, Hodges. Appreciate it. Looking through a whole bunch of Zwift, a whole bunch of chat actually coming through over on the Twitch feed, actually. Good to see here. And no, it is not that I can see, Johnny. I appreciate you checking in on that, but since perhaps there is more than just from what I can see, it is not working at the moment. So perhaps there's more down than just zwiftpower.com when it comes to some of the back end stuff going on there. So Desmuni's in the house. Try to pronounce it as Lans Rodi. Is that what Lans Rodi? Now that's the thing is the O, is it a long O or is it a short O there, Desmuni? Desmuni, I appreciate it very much, actually, the correction there. And also another note coming through here, Chris Hopkinson is on Watopia. Warp over there if you get it. We don't have the ability to warp over there and give him a wheel. Been on the bike over, well, other people can do so. So go ahead and head on over there. I'll give a shout out to that for sure. Chris Hopkinson, been on the bike for over 72 hours. He is on Watopia. Probably a little lonely over there as we are on the London course at this point, but Chris Hopkinson is going for a new record actually out on Zwift. New distance record out on Zwift, trying to break his own actually. The man is a machine, and watch out for him. Been on the bike for over 72 hours. I wonder if he's on pace to set a new record. So head on over, check him out. You can probably find him out on Watopia. I believe there'll be a group around him, just hammering away. Now, this is interesting to see here. Brett Boniface is out on course currently, coming out of Canada, riding for Team ODZ. I was not expecting to see him out here today. It looks like Soren Bay and Davis following very quickly here. Team Experimental now making the way to the front. Now, this is where things are going to start getting interesting. You hit Box Hill, and now you start to see who has the power to hang on. This is where watts per kilogram start to really matter. Now, Francis Kopix has showed up on the day as well. Hygel's here. Now, Team Experimental definitely showing up in full-on support of Davis, I think, to take over this series lead. Soren Bay now heading to the front in the Danish National Champion flag, actually, here, that he won just a couple weekends ago. So good to see him hammering off the front here. Cops is here as well, trying to follow it up. It looks like ODZ, though, with Brett Boniface, 173 beats per minute right now. 450 watts, though. The attacks are on, serious attacks, and everyone starting to fall off the pace from Soren Bay there on the front end, just turning the screws there just a little bit. Cops are following up. Looks like Boniface able to close it down, but we're starting to string out and the elastic is starting to snap. When we say that, it's the elastic snapping, it's all about creating that fine line as it thins out, and if it snaps off the back, you're not able to hold that wheel any longer, and the rider that loses the wheel is going to allow force everyone else who's on the rivet, everybody else who is at their absolute threshold, cannot go any higher than the power they're currently holding. Snap right on off the back there. Now Davis here with the counter attack here. Soren actually almost set that up. That attack put everybody's heart rates into a VO2 max type effort, into an effort that is using more oxygen than they can supply to their muscles. So the body starts filling up with lactate, starts pouring massive amounts of lactate into the muscles of the riders. And at a certain point, you can't function on no oxygen any longer. And so I believe Soren was looking to put everybody else on the back foot by putting them well over their threshold, pumping those legs full of that lactate, and then seeing if Davis could go right on by, keeping him hopefully within his aerobic capacity. But it looks like that is not going to be happening. It looks like Cobbs is the one who's within capacity right now. 5.8 watts per kilogram coming from him. Bay there, 6.1. Boniface following up very closely. Davis now almost on the wheel. Petit here now, it looks like 6.5 watts per kilogram coming out of France. Unfamiliar with this rider. Good to see him out on course here hammering away. Going to be interesting to see if he's going to be a little bit of an upset today. Coming out of France, 7 watts per kilogram from him. Kopix, they're following it up. Kula there from the Vikings team, trying to keep the Vikings in as Alvesberg is 10 seconds back right now. We'll see if we can hang on to PTZ. Luminex Real Deal. Person is there as well. Now, it looks like Xander Person here is 4.1 watts per kilogram. Going to be trying to bridge the gap here. This is the elastic, though, we were talking about. It has definitely snapped. And 4.4 being caught very quickly by the rest. Maybe have gone a little bit over the effort he can actually handle. And has gone a little bit nuclear out on course here. Going to be heading backwards in blow-up mode here. 8 seconds back here for Kula from Larson. GTD then. Kopix here trying to hang on. Look at this group, though. Definitely strung out. Kopix doing everything he can to hang on. Also letting us know that he is one of the longest time Zwifters out on course right now with that Cervelo S5 zip in the back, full disc. Definitely showing off the beta set there. Now at the front now, Cops here still turning the screws a little bit. Looks like we do have a lead group of 6 now. Cops, Brett Boniface, Soren Bay, G Petit is in there as well. Francis Kappa, Davis there. Team Experimental putting 3 riders into this lead group, actually, including the Danish national champion. So good to see him hammering away with that. And we are seeing, looks like we do have a update here from zwiftreport.com. And not getting it to come through here. I'm going to have to change a couple of things there. Johnny, thanks a lot. I appreciate the help there. I'll see if I can work on it real quickly and get some new features into the broadcast here. We are having a little bit of trouble with that, though. I'll see if I can make it happen, Johnny. If I can, I will throw that into the broadcast here. So as soon as we possibly can, I'll try and make that happen here. But there's a little bit, I don't know if you noticed, we got a couple of things going on here right now with the racing. We'll try and set it up, though, at the same time. Looking through, but we are trying to add a new feature here with which is pretty cool. Zwift.com has continual images, actually, of the racers and where they stand, actually, out on course. So if we can get that to work here, we will do so. And bring that right on in to the broadcast here. So as soon as we possibly can here, we'll get that going here. Looking through at the front here, Bay, Davis, and Kopix, though, off the back by 5 seconds. Davis, actually, excuse me, guys, sorry about that. I missed the attack, but full-on attack. Messing around with SwiftPower.com here. And 4.0 watts per kilogram, as you can see. Bay off the back here a little bit. Petite, Kopix, Cops, Brett Boniface, and Johnny, you're hilarious, man. I've got, so this gives him, I've got like a paragraph of text coming at me here right now, and I think it's a little fun, but looking through here, Boniface here, cool at 102 back, Larson, McDonald now as well, Henderson, and Jeffs, Alvesberg, Pearson, Pinto, Lebonic now here trying to get on terms with that. And this is going to be the third group out on course, I believe. Kula and the rest here about 5 seconds up to riders now. Larson, McDonald there 4 seconds back, trying to close it down. There's a couple spots on the line there. We are looking for 7th and 8th place here. That is Larson and Kula. It's going to be Alvesberg, Jeffs, Pinto here trying to chase it down. Can they do it, though? That's the question. They are really coming on like a freight train, though. And this is showing you how important it is to have a large group of riders as they can push the pace forward. Larson here, 11 watts per kilogram coming from him, knowing that he might be falling off the back end of the race here if he does not close it right on down. Now another attack here coming from, I believe it's going to be, is that actually, no, it's not Kopix there. The rider on the right-hand side with the new slick looking kit there. Is that actually McDonald there? I believe. As I look through the riders, actually, and it is McDonald here. In the free speed kit here, trying to hang on to the pace. So this is the main chase group here. 50 seconds up though to the 6 out front though, and I believe they are absolutely gone. Now Davis has been holding on to 1 second for quite a while. He's been off the front and they just let him dangle out there. I think they believe they can bring him right back into the fold, but the question is, can they drop him up and over the top of the climb on Box Hill the second time over? Because that is the one that is going to matter. Davis has a solid sprint. He wins them a lot of times here out on Zwift. It does come down to a sprint. Davis is going to be one to watch out for. Now, the thing that's interesting with the 2 team experimental riders in there and knowing that Davis can take over the series lead, we are most likely not going to see them chasing down their teammate at all today. So Boniface here, knowing that Team Experimental is not going to be messing around and playing a whole lot of games with them, that he's going to try and get away, it looks like here. 15 watts per kilogram. This is a serious attack into the climb here, as you can see from Boniface. Gains immediately 3 seconds. Kopix, though, going to be playing the Team Domestique, goes right to the front, 10 watts per kilogram. Davis holds on. Bay tries to go along with it here. Team Experimental going to start their team time trial here to close this gap right on down. But Boniface off the front here, making sure things hurt, not letting anybody have a free ride today. Now Alvesberg, along with quite a few others, they're putting orange numbers out of the underground. 142 beats per minute here. Alvesberg Vikings now still within the top 7 situation. Kula now trying to make the chase as he knows his teammate could still grab a top podium spot here for the SZR Racing Series now. So we are seeing Matt Gardner cheering on Davis there. Definitely charging, that's for sure. Racing Bikes with the Report is pretty sweet. It is a pretty sweet program. We're going to see if we can get the setup going here for... Oh, it's all good. Don't it's all good, Johnny. All good, Johnny. No need to apologize at all here. We're going to see if we can get the setup going here. And if we can, we'll go ahead and bring in the new little the new zwiftpower.com into the setup here in just a second here. I'm not positive if I have the correct, and so I think I do have it now. I'm going to see if I can bring this right on in. Not zwiftpower.com, but Zwift Report. That is not it. That is my stream key. For some reason, it copied the stream key over here. So definitely don't need the stream key. But looks like I am able to... No, it's still giving me some wacky copying things going on here. We don't need that. All right, we're going to go ahead and mess with some technical things here real quick, because this is going to be pretty cool if we can get it in here. Go ahead and update it. Page load completed. It looks like it isn't set up though so that it brings in the riders the way that we want it to, actually, Johnny. So just to give you an idea, I wonder if I could change this on the fly, but I'm probably not going to do that at the moment here. But SZR Winter Series, there it is. That's what we got there. So that's probably not going to work out for what our purposes are here, but good try. We tried to do it. So we'll see if it does update and brings on through. So looking through here at the front end of the race, though, Brett Boniface here still off the front by about 5 seconds. Looks like they're going to let him go, though. And, well, 4 seconds now. It looks like Copics is playing the Domestique at this point. So 5.1 watts per kilogram. Looks like Copics is going to be bringing this back in the fold. No ODC riders in there. So no games to be played by anybody else. Team Experimental definitely with the power here in this chase group, holding 3 of the 5 members here. So Copics here, 6.3 watts per kilogram on the front. Boniface holding steady, 3.5. Looks like he's playing pretty smart as far as the speed goes, with 36 miles per hour, 32 miles per hour, matching the speeds there. You can see it's going to be closed down very quickly. Now Boniface up in the 4.6, Soren Bay heading to the front there. And that is the situation in the A category. So for the B category, Jay Scott here leading things out, it looks like, for PTZ. Now, the question here I have as far as the PTZ riders go is, or this rider at least, is he involved in the overall here? PTZ, I'm not seeing PTZ actually in the series overall. So I think showing up on the day, perhaps, just looking for a few points. Now, Team Poland out on course here, it looks like also not involved in the overall for the series in the B category here. So we're going to have to look back a little bit here to Treadwell, perhaps going to be one of the riders here in the series, riding unattached from what I can see. And also not in this series here. Lana Sports there as well. Mr. Pink there from SZR, perhaps one of the first riders that is battling out in the series. And it looks like Neil Creswell, I think that's who that may be, riding for Reservoir Cogs. I believe this would be the rider currently sitting in, it looks like, 4th overall, tied with Bard Anderson from the Vikings team. Now, where is Bard is going to be the question, as this will be a battle to watch out. Rigdevard is in there from Innovation. Legastron's in there, well, about 51 seconds back. Looking for Bard Anderson, though, from the Vikings. Not seeing him in this front group, actually. Maybe not showing up on the day, as I'm not seeing him amongst any of the front riders here at the moment. I am seeing Thomas in there from the Vikings team, as well as a few others as a few others from the Vikings team, as the right-hand side does jump around on us there a little bit, so not able to follow it closely. But let's jump back in with the C and the D category, as they are still making their way up and over the top of the climb, a few of them. I'm going to move our way back to, it looks like, just over the top of Box Hill with the C category here. I am seeing Afonso actually hammering his way over the top here. And it looks like Afonso's battling it out with another rider here. It will be Oberg there. Carlson, Anderson there a little ways up from them. Lovedale there as well, coming out of the UK. Vestman now, I believe this may be getting up toward the pointy end of the C race. That is a name I do recognize from the series. It will be Dennis Westman, though. I believe perhaps another rider actually out on course. Gustafsson now there. Looks like Carter and S. Pink. M. Iron is there. And then it will be Alvist along with Scarborough. D. Clark here, it looks like 3.1 watts per kilogram. R. Johnson, and then it will be D. Lucy. Guideson there as well. And then Truen trying to chase down Guideson. Johansson now 19 seconds up from him. Tor Baca there 5 seconds up from them. We're still trying to find the front end of the C category. D. Vestman here. Here we go. Dennis Vestman. This is the current leader in the series, averaging 20 points per race. 8 races in, sitting at about 160 points. I do not believe Dennis is going to be caught in this series, actually, with that many points here. But it looks like he's going to be challenged a little bit out on course. We do have, looks like R. Jones from the WBR team coming out of Wales there. Then looking a little ways forward, Peterson here, DBR as well. Riding for DBR. Unfamiliar with who DBR is here. Coming out of Denmark, actually. And that is going to be Martin Hoff Peterson, actually, riding for the DBR team. Let's see if I can find out who the DBR, Danish Bike Riders. I should have known that one. That one was, I believe, fairly obvious there for me, actually. And it looks like he's sitting in second place overall, actually, with 80 points. With 6 races, I do not believe he's going to be able to catch up, though, to the front runner with 8 races and 160 points, but has taken a couple of W's, actually. And I believe they would have to be up against Dennis Westman out on course here. So we'll see if he can have a little bit of an upset here on the day up against Westman as they make their way to their second time around out on course here. We'll follow the C category closely, as this looks to be a good battle here with some B and C category riders, actually. With the lead group, it looks like of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10, 11 riders or so in this lead group. So back in with the front runners, though, in the A category, it does look like Boniface has taken another dig off the front, actually. Kopix and Davis still working together. Looks like Davis actually dropping off the team members here, not wanting Boniface to take those 25 points away. 6.4 watts per kilogram currently coming from Davis here. Bay now trying to close it down 5.6, as you can see, coming out of Denmark. Going to try and work with this rider, or maybe just let the riders go. Be interesting to see if that's how they play it out. Now, I'm not sure that Davis can go with the likes of Boniface up on the top if he goes full on over the top of the Box Hill climb. So if they do allow Davis to get away and it's mano a mano, man versus man up at the front here, I believe Boniface would walk away with that one and probably put Davis in a bad position here. So will Team Experimental work for Mike Davis, though? That's the question. Is Soren Bay interested to put Davis in the front spot? Will be, though, no love lost in the sprint effort at the end here. Kopix, they're 3.8 watts per kilogram at the back end of this race. A little bit of back story, actually, interesting for those of you who might know. What is the first couple of introductions to Francis Kopix to the world of broadcasting and Zwift racing? A little bit of trivia for you out there. We do get requests a lot of times for Nathan to race as a little bit of a hint. You can probably find the broadcast actually out there somewhere, but I was not casting. So let me know if you guys have any idea. This is going back 2.5 years, I believe. So the last time I think I met Kopix out on course. Looking through, and it looks like walk in the park for some. James Hodges is saying, what's the chat going on here? CS Tricks is talking about a wetsuit. Swim I will do. Kopix training is good. Giddy up. I believe Kopix is definitely going to have, we see him coming in to the races here around this time of year. And I think he is a very smart Zwifter when it comes to his training. I haven't seen him out here. There might be other reasons for it, but I have the feeling it might have something to do with he is purely all about being a very periodized Zwifter when it comes to his training. And he starts to ramp it up here at this time of year with the intensity to get the best workouts that he possibly can. And Kim Little hit it on the head there. It was the GCN race with myself, Cy Richardson, and Francis Kopix in the battle at the front end of the race, actually. And Kopix and I were in a sprint to the finish line against each other, actually, out on the Richmond Worlds course. Cy Richardson was able to get away from us on a on the, I believe it was Libby Hill climb, and just threw down huge watts per kilogram on the back end of that climb actually into 23rd Street. So that was it was a great battle for sure, and just barely able to come across the line just ahead of Kopix there. He was definitely formidable, I think he'd whoop on me now. I'm not going to be holding on to these wheels at this moment. I'm on the top of Box Hill. So Kopix is getting his race mojo back. He lost it for a while. Got it, Kim. Understood. Well, being a longtime drifter, you can see where, perhaps some of the mojo could go for a little while, as I believe some of us being out on Zwift for 2.5, 3 years. Kopix has been Zwifting for 3 years plus at this point. And so, maybe a little bit of a break and then coming back with some intensity and interest. That's always needed when it comes to the racing scene, no matter what scene that you're in, Zwift scene, outdoor scene. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a recharge to have the energy for it again here. Now back at the front though, Boniface with 4 seconds. Looks like they're just letting him dangle out there. Wasted energy if he wants to, as they thought he would not be able to hang on to the line. And looking through some more of the comments here, if you do want to get involved in the broadcast, Zwift Community Live is letting us know GCN. Doug Crowell saying thanks, Nathan. No problem, Doug. Appreciate you stopping in to the broadcast here. Sherry saying off the front. I got to tell you, Nathan, you are really good at what you do, man. Props, David Williams. Thanks a lot, David. Appreciate that. Good to see the coach in the house from CIS Cycling there. And we are seeing Andrew Benke letting us know this is an update coming on Chris Hopkinson, who is over on Watopia right now, looking to break the Zwift distance record. So far, he broke the 72-hour mile record out on Watopia. He is, I believe, on the Volcano course. If I'm not incorrect, please correct me if I'm wrong. If you do want to join him, head on over there and start Zwifting up with him and see if you can assist him in breaking some more records. So appreciate the update there, though, Andrew Benke, on the likes of Mr. Chris Hopkinson, who is out there for I think he's going to be out there for 5 to 6 days, actually. Ultra endurance athlete there, breaking records. Soren Bay here, 3.7 watts per kilogram on the front now. They have caught Brett Boniface. It looks like 6 riders now heading into Box Hill, and this is where the fireworks are going to go off. We are going to see the attacks up on over the top. Most likely, they were consistent over the top. There was some pretty fast times, I believe. 6:01. That's crazy fast, but at the same time, it isn't. We've seen them 10 seconds faster than that in the past here. We'll see if the riders are motivated for that kind of an effort today. Who wants to get away? Who wants to win the race? Now, Team Experimental, maybe with most of the firepower here, might not allow that to happen, though. That is another piece of this puzzle here as we put together this race. The riders may not be super interested to get away and perhaps are just looking to close down every single gap that ends up being formed. Brett Boniface, along with Cops, definitely, and the Petit, definitely a threat here to Team Experimental, but there is a little bit of a draft on the uphills. And we may see a situation where Soren and Kopix keep Davis within their shelter and just assist him as much as they possibly can to the top within striking distance. I do not believe Davis could get away from the likes of a rider like Boniface or Cops. Maybe we could see a situation where he could, but I have a feeling they want to bring it down to a sprint. Now the question is, will Soren Bay, though, 3rd place overall, perhaps the real battle here is between team members, as Soren Bay is in 3rd overall, Davis in 2nd overall. If we look at the points actually at this right now, it looks like for the A category, Soren Bay is at 83 points, but only 5 races. Davis 6 races in, 100 points. 25 more points, that actually puts Bay over the top of Mike Davis, actually, and they have to show in week in and week out And Bay, I believe, has been performing a little bit better perhaps than Davis when he does show up out on course. So perhaps Soren Bay here maybe showing us right now that he has no interest in working for the team on the day here and wants to take down that first place overall. He grabs 25 points. It will put him into second. Well, it won't put him in second place as Davis, barring anything crazy happening here. We'll grab some points as well. But, 25 points. Davis, if he ends in outside of the top 5 here, if he ends up the 6th place rider here, we could see a situation where if we look at the point structure there, he gets 8 points. That would put him at 108. Yeah, we won't see a situation at all here where Bay will take over the overall lead, but definitely creeping up on the likes of Davis here with 83 points currently, and going to be jumping over 100, barring any kind of, barring an upset here, as I do believe Soren is one of the strongest riders in the group here. So Soren Bay, Danish national champion, as you can see here, has earned that kit for a full year actually. Zwift doing a great job with the jersey designs there for sure. So Cops here following things up here, coming out of Sylvania. Looks like he's going to try and get away now, and then it will be Petit here following up as well. Soren Bay will be Kopix able to hang on to it, looks like, and then Davis now 7 watts per kilogram quickly. Brett Boniface just sitting on the back, maybe waiting for these riders to put their little bit of a dig in, put those legs into a little bit of bother, and then perhaps take advantage of that with a counter attack here. 163 beats per minute. He's got about 20 beats to work with, though. When you start these climbs, though, regardless of how many beats you have to work with, you know what's on the way. You have this dreading almost of the pain that's about to start, and then you get in the middle of the pain and you no longer have time to think about what you are dreading, and you are just in the middle of it, and there's a change. It's almost like the anticipation of the pain, at least for me, is worse than the pain itself. Actually, what's on its way, but as soon as you start into it, that changes the motivation. You once you're into it, once you start the suffering over and over the top of Box Hill, you're experiencing it, and then it's a battle in the midst of it. In those moments, you're making a continual choice to push forward, to do more, right? The anticipation for me mentally is almost more painful, because you know what's on its way, and it's the choice to start. It's the choice to start that hurts more for me almost, that I am going to do this. Because once I start doing it, once I start hammering myself up and over the top of this climb, there's no stopping at that point. I'm going to get up and over the top as fast as I possibly can. Once I've started that effort, once I've made the choice that all right, I'm in. We're putting my heart rate to what I can. I'm going to see what I can throw down up and over the top. But it's that anticipation, even though he's sitting at 160 beats per minute or whatever it was at the bottom of the hill, to follow the move and not know whether or not you have the ability to hang on, but going anyways and putting yourself into that over threshold effort. Actually, that's the painful part, at least for me. That's the hardest part, because once I'm in it and once I'm doing it, I know that I'm going to complete it, because I've started something that I've got to finish at that point. And I don't know if anybody else can relate to that out there. Let me know if you can relate to that actually in chat. Actually, is it the actual effort and continued effort and finishing what you started that oh my gosh, this hurts so bad? Am I going to go over the top and not throwing in the towel? Or is there more of a, just getting going when it comes to these kinds of efforts? And then once you've got going, okay, you can get through it here, actually. So let me know what you think there. We're looking through here. And Bahati is in the house here saying, "Where's Bahati?" This is a great comment here actually. And where's Bahati? He says, "Where's Bahati?" The dog ate Bahati's schedule here. It's absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving the comment here. Fred Barr here now say Brad Fair actually here saying Fred Barr. I've seen Brad Fair say, "What's the fastest an individual did Tron bike 50,000 meters? Is there a record?" I'm not sure. That's a good question, actually, Brad Fair. As far as the climbing of 50,000 meters fastest record, not exactly sure. I did do it pretty quickly. I do have a couple of people who have done some really specific places out on Zwift that wanted it as fast as they possibly could. So they used a TT bike with, I believe, either an auto macro or a continual pushing of the turnaround over and over again, and was able to grab a lot of climbing in a very short amount of time, actually. So Brett Boniface here now, 179 beats per minute, 10 watts per kilogram coming in. This is a full-on attack here coming from Boniface. Is he going to be able to hold on to this, though, as we do see him grab about 7 seconds there from the pack now. Cops now 5.2 watts per kilogram. Bay now from Team Experimento. Following the two riders just ahead, I think they're just going to follow up Cops and Petit here, as they do believe they're going to be able to bring him back into the fold here. 8 seconds, though, is going to be a threat if he gets over the top with that 8 seconds and then puts down an attack up over the top there. We have to see how it's going to work out. And we are seeing Davis here trying to chat, it looks like. I'm not sure if it's going to work out, though. This is what we're getting from the likes of Davis, who's trying to, just pedal the bike, as we're seeing M and then M-E. Nathan, will you do it for you if you sponsor him? What's going on there, Harry? I'm not sure. Nathan will do it for you if you sponsor him. I'm not exactly sure what Harry's talking about here, but is he talking about the Tron bike there? I'm not sure exactly what that's about there, but Harry, I don't really have any pull when it comes to the Tron bike. But I appreciate it. Appreciate the chat there, Harry. And I'm not sure we're taking any sponsorships either over at the channel right now. So Adam Zim saying, I don't relate too much to that. For me, I'm more worried about not being able to respond to the tax or missing the winning move, Adam Zim is saying, as far as just getting started there. Anticipation of the climb is worth. Matt Gardner is saying, always get over with the group, and attacks at least keep me pushing harder. And Hodges saying, I can calculate that record, just need to sort the SQL Keurig. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Hodges. Let me know what it is. So it looks like Boniface here was 17 seconds up over the top here. Interesting to see. Are they going to chase this down, actually? 5.7 watts per kilogram, now 7 watts per kilogram. A solid 601, so not any faster than they did it the first time here. It looks like they have let him go, but on the downhill, 16 seconds can be brought back. There are no power-ups, remember. Will Team Experimento work together to bring this rider back into the fold? It's gone out to 20 seconds now. I'm not sure they even have the power to do so now. 159 beats per minute here coming from Bay. I think he's got quite a bit to work here. And Davis here sitting on the back, 151. These riders are just allowing Boniface the gap, actually. Maybe not racing him today and allowing him to get away here. Now Petit here, 8 watts per kilogram, as you can see. Davis now 8 watts per kilogram as well. Orange numbers throwing down. Boniface over the top with 15 seconds. That's going to go out by quite a bit more. And now 8.2 watts per kilogram from Petit. Velo Sphere here, Team Experimento with Copics now 8.4 watts per kilogram, 169 beats per minute. Now 6.7 with a little bit of continuance. It's going to be about the continuance, keeping that speed as high as possible over the top here. Boniface with 30 seconds. It might be all said and done. 186 beats per minute, though. Cops here, 33 seconds back. And now the chase is on. Will he be able to hold on to it? That's the question. 43 miles per hour here, currently 41 from the group now. They're not interested. You can see it. They are not interested in chasing. Or unable to chase. But 164 beats per minute here. I think they got quite a bit more to work with. 164. They're just looking at each other. It's full-on hand-holding at this point, it looks like to me. Unless the heart rates, unless they're that much effort has been put out. They're that tired out there that their heart rates will no longer go up toward max. But I believe these riders do have quite a bit more to work with here and just do not have an interest to chase down the likes of Boniface here, who's at about 5.3 watts per kilogram on the front, actually. So we are seeing Zimmerman, so not really, can't relate too much to the anticipation of putting the effort down. Interesting, Adam. So you don't dread the attacks that might be coming? You don't dread the pain that might be coming? For me, it is the anticipation of the pain. And then once you're in the middle of the pain, it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. It's the starting that is more difficult for me, for sure. But maybe more, it's more focused on whether or not you can respond to the attacks. That makes sense 100%. I think actually that may be the higher priority when it comes to the pain. Now, it's almost a fear of self, though. I think it's like the fear of whether or not you're great enough to make it happen. It is the whether or not I can respond when it comes down to it, whether or not I want to put myself into that amount of pain that I know is on its way. So looking through some of the other chat that's coming through here. Nathan, are you commentating the CVR World Cup? Do you have any predictions? I do not believe I am commentating the CVR World Cup, and I have no predictions. Derek Abbott, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure who's going to the CVR World Cup. So I don't have any predictions for it at the moment. I'll keep an eye out though for it once we get a little bit closer to it and maybe watch it on the day. I may be there. We'll see. We're still figuring out the travel plans there. Boniface here with 23 seconds, though, it looks like. Petit here now 5.3 watts per kilogram from him. 23 seconds back from Boniface, though. Kopix there 7.9 watts per kilogram, as you can see. 14% gradient. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to catch this rider. 24 seconds, just too much for them, I believe. Kopix here full on attack, though, up and over the top, looking to drop off the rest of the riders. 1 second back to Petit here. It looks like Kop's able to go right along with him here. Kopix now with the attack, trying to break the likes of Kops, but Kops is now going along around him here at 7.9 watts per kilogram. Bay trying to close it down, 168 beats per minute, but it looks like Kops is getting away. Davis now seeing that's a threat now, 9 watts per kilogram, but Brett Boniface gone with 25 seconds to make their way up over the top. There goes Nathan's avatar, who's out on course as the team, as the officials car there. But 23 seconds all said and done. Davis here going to have to settle for second place if he can still get the sprint, but Bay now also following up his team member here, and it looks like it's going to be a sprint finish between Davis and Soren Bay. We'll see if they can hold on to this pace all the way to hold on to this gap, though, as they have created a little bit of a gap. Nope, excuse me. Cops actually and Petit do catch up immediately, actually. So it looks like the riders are going to be all together for the sprint here. 20 seconds back. Boniface, though, going to be your winner on the day. Just about to cross the line. Has enough room here. Put his hands in the air, as it's definitely the attack over the top of Box Hill that did take the W here. 182 beats per minute. Now, here we do have G Petit here. 1 second up here. Davis, though, 12 watts per kilogram, going from way out. Looks like he's learned his lesson from a few of the other riders who have gone way too late. 16 watts per kilogram here coming from Davis. Solid effort. Looks like the sprint is real. And Davis here able to walk away with this one as he comes across the line. It looks like then it's going to be Soren Bay cross line, followed up by Cops. And then it will be Francis Kopix, I believe, coming in for the next place. Petit, perhaps, there in the 6th position there. So let's take a quick little look there at the finishing order So it did come across the line. It was Davis with that huge attack, as you can see. 1100 watts here coming from 174 beats per minute. Quite the kick from the likes of Davis there. Then it was behind him, though, as you can see there, Soren Bay able to get a second over Kops there, as you can see. And then it looks like Kopix walking away from G Petit, who will end up in 6th place. You do see that finishing order there just behind as they came across the line. So back in the B category, though, let's go ahead and see if we can move our way back here, as they are going to be coming to the line here very shortly. See if we can find our way back into the overalls here. And then we do find ourselves back into it. Now we do have Luminix here. Now Real Deal Racing here. Sprinting to the line. Solid effort there from him, a male. As P. Henderson here is chasing that down as well. Absolute mayhem behind these riders, actually, as they make their way to the line. Hopstadius is there as well, and then it looks like the battle for the Bs here is going to be Team Poland here. 3 seconds over Jay Scott. Jay Scott from PTZ trying to close it down. 4.5 watts, become 5.2 here coming from Team Poland. Is this going to be within category limits? This rider has been absolutely hammered, it looks like here. And perhaps maybe outside of category limits, though, because this is some crazy watts per kilogram. 4.9 watts per kilogram currently. Able to hang on with some of the front runners in this A category, actually. Maybe an upgrade here coming for Team Poland. Jay Scott off the back end will be taking 2nd place, though, in that B category. It looks like the sprint, though, is coming to the line. P. Henderson just about to cross the line there, a little ways ahead of these riders. Now Costa here, right on with Nebel and Axelson making their way there. It looks like Nebel would be. But should I give it a try at this one? Przystastek? I'm not sure, though. We'll see if that was a good try, perhaps. That one's got a lot of consonants right next to each other there. So we've got, it looks like Mortensen here making their way to the line. Hopstadius, though, from Team SZ. Looks like he's going to be the one that can get across in 1st place. Team SZ going to be taking down that 1st place there, it looks like. Adam Meyerson out on course. Good to see him. Pro rider coming from the East Coast of the US of A. Give him a ride on 9.5 miles, it looks like, into his ride. Pro rider actually cyclocross and road out of domestic out of the USA. Good to see Meyerson out on course there. Also a huge advocate for cycling on the East Coast with development teams and coaching over there. So Mervello here now, Basso out of the UK, looks like 5 seconds up on A. Phillip. Looks like Mr. Pink coming from Reservoir Cogs, trying to close things down. Team Netherlands, though, with 8 watts per kilogram on the charge. Now almost catching Morvello. Morvello's going to have to kick here. Now I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on. Mistakes were made, boys and girls, as you are seeing. 8.2 watts per kilogram. Maybe going to catch him. The speed is real. And looks like it's going to happen. Team Netherlands nips it there just at the line. That's how you sprint here, boys and girls. Look at that. Here we go one more time. Team Netherlands, our guys now. Absolute monster sprint. 538 watts. He's getting 192 beats per minute. And the timing, it's all about the speed. Taking those watts per kilogram into the finish line there. And down, but it's all about the speed coming into that downhill there and able to get away, or actually close the gap down to those other riders there. Now we are at the front end of the C category race, though, and I believe as they are making their way down the climb here. R. Jones from Race WBR. Viberg off the front there, it looks like 2.7 watts per kilogram with Vestman, though 1.1 watts per kilogram. Degnan is off the front, though, with another rider, Viberg, it looks like here, 2.2 watts per kilogram. So excuse me, Viberg here with Degnan. Now, Jones, Peterson now 54 seconds back. So it looks like these two riders are going to be walking away with this one in the C category, actually, with a few of these B category riders. Smart tactical race here in this mass start, it looks like. with Viberg and Degnan. Going to be looking for a sprint finish here in the C category and to take this down. Vestman here probably going to stay in the overall lead though over on ZwiftPower.com. Let's go ahead and double check here what's happening with this, and it is going to be, I'm not seeing the likes of Viberg or Degnan from what I can see in the overall at this moment. Dennis Westman though a little ways back. Going, oh, excuse me, Vestman. Is that Connie Vestman? No, so I got D Vestman, and then I've got Dennis Westman. I've got two, I can't keep them all straight. Vestman, they're everywhere. And there's multiple of them between the categories too. Popular name, perhaps, over in Sweden here. So, looking through here at a few of the riders here. I'm sure Cat 1s can't relate. Racing Mike is seeing Adam Sims. I get excited for the start of the climb. I know I can hang at least halfway, but when I'm in the hurt halfway up and attacks come, I start to worry, start to self-doubt. I like this therapy session. Got you there, Adam Sim. So I get that. I completely get that 100%. I think I just don't have the I do get worried about not being able to follow the moves about halfway through. For some reason, it's whether or not I have it's a little different for me, in my experience, Adam Zim, of what the mental dread is, the mental pain of the interval. It's the same way that I can be afraid of a workout that's coming. I know how deep I have to dig during some of the workouts that are on weight, like lactate tolerance reps on a local climb. I have a local climb. It's called Nature Hill, and you're not supposed to ride on it any longer. Actually, they put up signs that no mountain bikes allowed. But the climb though, it's essentially, if I went all out, it's like a 35 seconds climb one time, right? I maybe do it 35, but it's a climb that's like Box Hill. Not 6 minutes long, but it continually gets steeper and steeper as you go up. And it's got to be a 20% gradient or something up at the top. You can barely pedal. Smallest gear on a mountain bike, spinning. I used to grind at 60 to 70 RPM and just sprint over the top as hard as I could. And it's a repeat hill for me. Go to the top, come down, your rest is on the way down. Repeat 5 times, everything you got. By the end of it, 50 seconds to a minute, right? So you're losing 15 seconds on that kind of a climb. You can understand what kind of suffering that you're in the middle of. I would dread the pain of that workout so much. Those were so painful though that like I almost quit those so many times. Like those are hard to complete. Like quitting that workout was definitely one that it was the dread of quitting is what it was though. That's why I wouldn't want to go into it, because it was the dread of quitting, of not having the will to do it. And so, but it was almost more painful prior, because I always was able to tell myself you can and finish it up. All right, Degnan here now on the sprint here for the C category now. Viberg now 3.5 watts per kilogram, as you can see. And it looks like it's going to be Verhelst now out of Belgium, though, taking the initial sprint here for the B category. There's the battle here happening in the B category, as you can see, and the C category. Degnan now trying to close it right on down. It looks like it's going to be the Belgian rider, though, across the line in first place, I believe. Quite a sprint, though, still coming on from Degnan. Degnan, though, at the line. What a sprint there. Looks like then it was Grad there that was able to get across the line next, though. What an amazing effort there coming from Degnan there out of nowhere. I think it's time for an upgrade there in that B category, perhaps. We'll have to see if he does grab that upgrade, though. I'm not sure if they were able to take the W. I think they might have been over category limits as we do move backwards here. Here's the sprint for Jones. I believe Jones. No, Peterson. It looks like nipped him right at the line, just ahead of Jones. We'll see if we can grab the replay there, actually. I think we have, is that the wrong? Yep, that is the wrong feed. Wrong feed, 100%. We took a replay of people just riding around in the Trafalgar Square. Guys from Team NL. You can see guys riding around for his cooldown. What a great replay. Guys, we can slow it down even. Good job, guys. Going past the bus stop. So solid effort there from guys. Heinz Sports now coming across the line. We'll give him a ride on as he crosses the line there for a sprint. Bates now, it looks like as well. A little bit of sprint there from him. I think just a part of a WBR race though. I think that's going to be up for us as the WBRs do get out on course. It looks like there's a race starting actually. If you do want to jump into those, they are starting every hour on, well, not every hour on the hour, but they are almost every hour on the hour. So looks like I've got a message that we may be able to do some, you know, I was expecting Watopia today and heading on over to the mountain with one of the athletes I coach. Actually, we were going to go and do some mountain repeats. Not sure we're going to be able to make that happen though, as we do not have the mountain repeats. Actually, we do not have the mountain as the live course. So we'll see if we can jump out on course though. Beaten it by a faster guy. Congrats, Mike Soren Bay is saying. We do see a few of the riders jumping into chat here. As you can see, congrats to Mike. I got Lucky Bay. You scare me, and I got Jumpy. Great race once again, Nathan and his legend. Thanks, no problem there. I really appreciate it. Chris Gorman. I'm wondering if perhaps you understand that these are real riders on actual bikes pushing the pedals forward. So these avatars are all powered by the power of real riders out on course, actually. So these are real riders, real efforts from them right now, actually, Chris Gorman. Usually we get that comment actually coming through over on our Twitch channel a lot of times, because people come in who don't understand. They think it's like people with controllers pushing like the avatars forward and like pushing buttons and stuff with their hands. Like most of the time whenever I see that comment, and then they realize that these are real heart rates and real watts and actual power coming from human bodies to compete against each other with power meters and smart trainers, feeling the roads on those smart trainers, and they go, oh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like almost time and again. I mean, almost every single time they're like, wait a second, what? These are all real riders on bikes competing and riding and pushing these avatars along from their homes, but at the same time riding with each other in a real and in a virtual environment. And at that point, okay, that's not very boring whatsoever. We do try our best to bring in the real life experience from the riders as much as we can to show that off. We didn't have anybody on board today for that, but as much as we can, we try and show that experience to everybody. So, and Racing Mike is saying, should we be fearing an upcoming Workout Wednesday effort on ZCL? Yes, I believe that is going to be starting in 30 minutes. I believe that will be starting in about 30 minutes. Let me just double check here and make sure, but there should be a Workout Wednesday with, oh, actually, no, I think it already happened earlier today. Excuse me. I was probably sleeping early this morning, perhaps, while that was going down. I'm just going to double check here real quick through. Yeah, so we already had the Danny Rowe was out on here with a Workout Wednesday, actually, for a pre-record, I believe. So Danny was out there hammering away with the rest of the riders for Workout Wednesday for Women's Week, actually. So Matt was out there with her, it looks like, for Workout Wednesday already. So Workout Wednesday actually already took place. I didn't think it was too boring this morning, cranking 300 watts in my race. It got me second place. Nice job, Board Pilot. Appreciate it. Yeah, so it is the experience, actually, of the racing as well, I believe, that, and the riding that makes it not too important. And so I'll look through here. Looks like there's a lot of chat about the upcoming CVR race. It'll be good to see all of you guys over in LA. You're heading over there. We'll make sure to say hi to everybody. Is there a reason to use power data from the trainer if you already own a power meter? No, I would say not. Unless you like the power from your smart trainer a little bit more. But if you have a hub for your power meter, then that's not going to work. And so a lot of people who already have a power meter will use their smart trainer so that they can get the experience and the force pullback from the trainer. There is a huge amount of training benefit from a smart trainer giving you the force and the experience of the torque that you need to put into those pedal strokes. So as far as the training benefit goes, I was using a power meter and didn't really like smart trainers for a long time for some of the power discrepancies that I saw, as well as the not instantaneous wattage when I was training, because not all, but most smart trainers still, how can I put this as awesomely and nicely as possible? There's still a wind-up feature. There still is a they're fairly accurate. They're fairly accurate, but there's still a spinning mechanism that is removed from the torque itself, right? So the Neo doesn't have that, but there's very few, I believe some of the elites out there as well, but there's very few smart trainers that actually measure torque and rather than just measuring drag. And so it's not Z-Power, where it's just measuring the speed of a wheel spinning around, but it's still something spinning around at a certain speed with a drag on it, and then estimating the power off of that drag. And so that's still removed from the torque, and so it's going to be very difficult to get that kind of a power measure, the exactness of a power measurement. And that's why outside of strain gauges or strain or a torque measurement that is built into the smart trainer or power meter, it's going to be very difficult to find a very accurate power measurement. ISO, so we are old kicker firmware for the Win Racing, Mike is saying. Way too fast for you, saying ISO. If ride outdoors at well, it's best to use your... way too fast to you. I'm not sure what... I see. Thanks for the answer. No problem. ISO. Always speaking ISO there. See it. So it's best to use your... Well, yeah, if you're outside, you use your power meter. But if you're... I think what he's getting at, though, is that... and I would 100% agree that if you do have a strain gauge power meter... that is on your crank or is on your pedals, and you know that they are, they're going to be more accurate almost 100% of the time than your smart trainer. So I would suggest using those for sure. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm not going to keep on poking the bear there, and appreciate everybody for tuning in. And Aaron Milligan, good to see you there, tuning in over at the Zwift Community Live channel. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That's going to be it from me. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be live tomorrow with some stuff, I believe, on the Crit series, if we can get it together by then. Otherwise, we've got a big week, actually, the following week. So we're going to be having all kinds of stuff going on, I think, next week and the week following. So Women's Week, I believe, is finishing up as well this tomorrow. So I believe there's still some events going on for women out there still to jump into. So make sure to jump into those. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, great job to all the riders out there. Right on.